studios here in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Sound Bites with Susan and Waylon, where we take a short extraction of our daily lives as publicists to share with you all and our audiences abroad. My name is Waylon Pate with J. Waylon & Associates.
And I'm Susan Friedman of Friedman Marketing and Public Relations. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm telling you, this time change is affecting, I think, both of us.
Yes.
We're sitting here trying to guzzle 16 gallons of caffeine to stay awake, and not to mention the fact that both of us had really busy weekends, right? And we got to see each other, which was nice, in a different kind of setting. So,
yeah, my week started off actually on Tuesday. I went to the Dallas Historical Society's Pour Yourself into History. At the Statler's. First time I went to the Statler.
Is it beautiful?
Had a tour. It is amazing. They paid a lot of attention to all of the details and really embraced the history and tried to bring it out.
Nice.
So if you ever have the opportunity to take a tour and actually have a spokesperson talk about the hotel itself, definitely do it. But it was an amazing event. We ended up in the speakeasy bar in the basement called Banter and Bourbon.
and bourbon.
Yes, and actually I have a picture of one of the cocktails.
Oh, is that a soup?
It looks like a soup, right? That is actually a cocktail, and it is with turmeric, tequila, mezcal, and Suze. And then they put a spoonful of herbs to really enhance the flavor of it. I mean, we're talking attention to detail. It's amazing.
Is it a shot, or do you actually sip it?
It's a sipper.
Oh.
It was delicious.
Give me a straw.
And it's turmeric. Turmeric's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah. No, it is. It is really good for you. I've not been to the Statler, although, you know, my offices are on Main and they're on Commerce.
Yeah.
So I drive by there quite a bit. And they've done a beautiful renovation I've seen just from the outside.
Yeah.
And
an expensive renovation.
They have those really cool cars out front.
Yes.
And then the audience may not know this, but the Dallas Morning News actually moved right into the library right next to the Statler. So, and I think they're building a gift shop and whatnot, but I'm eager to go and check it out myself. So I may have to
I'll join you. I know there's a lot of different bars and different places to go there. So yeah,
we'll have to check it out.
And restaurants too, not just drinking.
Nice. Well, my weekend was filled with spending many hours with my realtor. I think I mentioned on the last episode, Marcy Millard.
And how did you choose Marcy?
One of my financial folks recommended the mortgage broker who recommended Marcy, because it's really interesting. I obviously know there's like 60,000 gay realtors in the city, right? But I kind of made a conscious decision that I didn't, it's such a personal, intimate thing, your finances and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to go with someone that I didn't know for a couple of reasons. Because of A, that, right? I didn't want everyone knowing my finances. And B, because I did have so many friends, like close friends that are realtors. If I picked one, do you know what I'm saying?
Then the other ones would be jealous.
Right. But I have to tell you, this woman is incredibly competent and she is on her money. Like, she knows what she's doing and she's kind of sets up all the appointments 15-minute, and we were like all over the Metroplex. But I found one that I may be interested, so she's pulling comps.
What neighborhood?
It's like kind of close to Richland College, so it's a little bit outside of my original plan. But as she showed me, the further outside of the bubble I go, the bigger and more luxurious of a house I could get. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I can't wait to see
I'm
it,
kind
and you'll have to keep us updated.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So what are next steps?
Well, she'll pull the comps on the two that I kind of really was interested in. Way bigger house than I actually need, like 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths. So they're big.
Wow.
Solid granite, of course. Like and one of them has a pool. So, if it may make for some really interesting get-togethers.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see what happens this week. But
that's exciting and nerve-wracking.
It is. It's like I anticipated it to be a really kind of cool, laid back, we'll just look at a bunch of places. It's like you have to start contemplating a lot of other things besides just, the financial part's already kind of taken care of, but then you have to start thinking, well, my God, what's my commute, right? Are people going to come see me? And then you start having like the panic anxiety of like, am I going to be stuck out here, with 15 cats?
Yeah.
Like I just...
Don't knock cats.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm sorry, no. But
I love my cat.
Yeah, so we'll see.
That's exciting,
we'll see.
though. I want to go. I want to see it. Yeah.
I know. My mom's in town, obviously. My sister had gallbladder surgery, so I think she's wanting to see some of the properties too. So, but I'll wait till I narrow it down.
Okay.
And we'll see what
happens. Take some pictures and we'll show it.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Awesome. And then we also got to meet for this weekend for brunch.
That's right. That's right.
We went to a place called Ida Claire.
Amazing. My first
in
time there.
Addison. And it was so cute and charming. It's this Southern hospitality style with silver teapots and china and just really a Southern, like, chicken and waffle type brunch. And it was just an adorable place, and I would highly recommend it. And our waitress was adorable.
She was adorable. And, well, this is obviously a picture of the 7 of us at brunch, right? And talk about a meeting of the minds, you guys. In this picture alone, there are 3 publicists, an editor, a publisher,
and a fashion
a stylist, and also a global marketing kind of for a very, very large one of the largest companies actually in the world here. But it was so interesting because we're obviously friends, so it's interesting to kind of dive in with other people in our industry, right, and kind of around our industry, and just kind of talk shop. It's exciting to be around people with like minds and in like industries, because you can kind of bounce things off of. But I Declare was an amazing space. It was my first time there. Was it yours? And I have to say, like, yes, it's a Southern charm kind of restaurant, and you know, to your credit, what you're saying about the waitress, it was from the moment we sat down till we left, complete and utter Southern charm.
Yeah.
I mean, she
and
was
Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
She asked all of our names, like pretty much
Remembered.
shook hands with all of us,
Yeah.
and was cracking fun jokes.
Yeah,
She was
and the
great.
drinks were good too, right?
Yeah, they were delicious.
It was great. It was a good experience.
Excellent.
So, what else, Susan? What else is
The
happening?
main thing that we have coming up is St. Patrick's Day. Yes, I actually represent Tullamore Dew, which is an Irish whiskey. So I'm really excited because our global brand ambassador is going to be in town starting today.
Oh, cool.
His name is John Quinn, and he is coming from Ireland to talk about St. Patrick's Day and new Tullamore Dew release and all that. So, yeah, I'm going to be showing him the sights of Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. Are we gonna be able to see him anywhere on any spots or?
So he is going to be at, that's a great question, Trinity Hall, which is at Mockingbird Station on Tuesday evening.
That'll be fun. Maybe I'll go check it out because I am Irish, obviously, right? Red hair, freckles. Can't get any more Irish than this. How could you not? I mean, I'm certainly not Scandinavian, so yeah. No, I'm definitely Irish, and I do like whiskey in small portions, and so. You know, we both represent spirits, and I know so little about anything outside of vodka. And, like, I didn't even know that, you know, because isn't whiskey the same, there's whiskey and bourbon are kind of from the same something, but to be called a bourbon, you have to be, I don't know, it's really
there's
complicated.
a lot of different rules.
But I would really love to go see that.
Okay.
So
This
maybe we can go
Tuesday.
together.
Yep.
Sure.
But do you celebrate, now that I know that you're Irish, do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
No, funny enough, because I used to live on Lower Greenville, and I would get so upset every single year because people would come, this is in your front yard
so
when you live anywhere on Greenville.
I'll tell you about some of these events. This is the most infamous, probably in Dallas-Fort Worth. I think like 100,000 people attend, but don't quote me on that. This is the St. Patrick's Day Parade that pretty much takes over Greenville. And it's going to begin at 11 a.m. On Greenville and Blackwell Street. So throughout the rest of the day, there's going to be tons of parties. There's actually the Dallas Mavericks, and Mark Cuban's one of the major sponsors of it.
Oh, nice.
He saved the parade last minute several years ago and continues to sponsor
That's right. I
it.
didn't even
We
think
love
about
him
that.
for that. Thank you, Mark Cuban. So there's going to be a Mavs Corner with food trucks and live entertainment. And then there's also going to be a Brew Fest, surprise, surprise, near Office Depot. All of these are basically on Greenville. And there's going to be a family-friendly event at Comerica Bank. This is one that I thought was really cool because I didn't know about this band. There is a U2 tribute band. And this is considered the official after party. It's at the Skellig on Henderson.
I've never been there.
I haven't. I'm not familiar with it. Maybe we should go and check it
Maybe
out.
we should.
Do you like U2?
I love you too.
Well, we should maybe check
That's
it
our
out.
era, though, right? Because you and I are very close in age.
That's
so.
why they're so infamous. Is their era is so long, and still today it's current and relevant, and new music coming out all the time. So there will be a U2 tribute band there, and you can find out more information at Dallas St. Patrick's Parade. That's stpatricksparade.com.
Perfect. We can post that on
Yep.
social media afterwards as well.
Yes. And then the Fort Worth Stockyards, I think we have a picture of that. They're actually doing more of a family-friendly event, and it's called Cowtown Goes Green.
I love
that.
that.
So they're bringing in this whole Western feel. They're going to have like a cattle roundup or cattle drive, which I've never been to yet. Gunfight shows and just Celtic band and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, that's in Fort Worth, more family-friendly.
Okay.
And then McKinney, we got to head north now. Tups Brewery is going to be hosting a St. Patrick's Day festival as well.
Oh, that'll be
They're
so
going to
much
have
fun.
a Shamrock Run, which I think there's a run as well in Dallas. There's a lot of events. Just Google St. Patrick's Day Dallas, and you'll find about 10 million different things going on.
And one of our clients is Tillman's Roadhouse in Bishop Arts. So for all of you Bishop Arts folks, if you're wanting to celebrate, so there's one of kind of the signature pieces of Tillman's is this tableside s'mores, right? They literally bring you, it's this big, and they make their marshmallows in-house, the graham crackers in-house, like everything is done. Yes, it's all made in-house. And they actually bring you the burner. So you make the s'mores yourself. They're making green marshmallows for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
right?
really?
That's the first part. I probably shouldn't even say the second part because I'm not for sure if it's going to happen. I'm going to say it anyways. Jeffrey Collinger is going to be calling me in about 10 seconds probably. The chef and owner of Tillman's. No, it's not the monkey bread. People talk every single week. My agency, because we represent them, gets emails and messages about the tater tots. So I think he's going to bring back, maybe for one day only, the tater tots. Like if you Google Tillman's tater tots, it's like 60,000 pages of people talk. I don't know what it is about these tater tots, but anyway, he may bring them back for one day. So we'll see what happens.
Let me know. I've got to try that.
Yeah. So outside of St. Patrick's Day, right? March is a particularly special month for several reasons. One in particular, right? Because it's
International Women's Month.
That's right. And you and I are both go power for
women,
right?
Course.
And so we are excited about that in many ways. I asked you before the show who was one woman that kind of inspired you. I know one woman that inspired me, and you're like, well, did they take me under their wing, or is it just somebody at Mass? You know,
I mean, there's Oprah Winfrey, and I mean, there's a bunch of women that have achieved so much and accomplished so much that I definitely inspire to be. But I don't think it's on the same level, or I'm definitely taking your question way too far.
Yeah, you are.
Too deep.
Well, I don't know if it's too deep. It's just, you know, I obviously am not a woman, but so maybe I see it from a different perspective, right? Because, you know, you asked me the same question and I said, Hillary Clinton, of course, just because I think she's...
You knew right away.
But then I started like programming a little bit further, and I was like, why? Why am I so attracted to her or the work that she's done? And I think I could sum it up with the word persistence. That woman has battled the worst of the worst, right? Dedicated her entire life to public service, right? And since her husband was elected, you know, for the first term, you know, the other side of the equation came after her hard and never stopped, right? For nearly 30 years now, 20 years now. And so, but she kept going through. And I think that is kind of the abstract that I take from her and the work that she's done and why she's such an inspiration to me, because she basically said, I don't care, right? Come for me, but I'm still gonna keep doing the work that I do.
Right.
And I don't know if I have that kind of courage, right? If I were in a situation where I was, you know, really empowered and emboldened to do something and to make great change, but was constantly receiving, you know, just horrible, you know, character assassination, could I keep going? I don't know. I mean, I may,
At
you know,
the end of
bow
every
out
night, I
and-
may huddle underneath the bed in a fetal position and cry. But yeah.
So maybe I won't ask you a specific person, but
I actually have one person, and that would be my grandma. She lived to be 102 and just passed away actually this last January. But the things that she accomplished and has seen and watched just everything change and develop, and for her to stay as into, like, to modernize with the times, I think is such an amazing achievement. She was just so avant-garde for her age and for everything that she's accomplished. She was actually she was the very first lady to open the Social Security office in Indiana.
What?
Yeah, is that kind of cool? Like, she has all these little achievements, or she had all of these little achievements, and you know, she never bragged about it, and it was just part of her day. Family first, great values, and I think she would probably be my #1 inspiration.
I love that. I love that, Susan. It's there's something we can learn from women who have seen so much in their lives, right? I mean, your grandmother lived to be
102.
So she went through, my God, the Depression,
Oh,
right?
she's been through so much. Yeah.
Women's
she was
suffrage.
a homesteader. She grew up as a homesteader in Nebraska.
God,
yeah, she like lived in a mud hut. Can you imagine? Like I
No,
can't
I
even
can't.
imagine no AC. Like really, let alone a mud hut.
Yeah, the luxury that we live compared to what the people that came before us. But anyway, speaking of really powerful women, I'm excited for our next guest. So after this short break from Crudo Vodka, we will bring on a very special woman to me for many reasons, who's going to talk to us all about taxes and money and how to save it, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Stay
Going
tuned.
green.
All right, and we are back, and we are so excited to have Marie Kelly, founder of Kelly CPA, with us to talk about a couple of things. So to talk about taxes a little bit and accounting. Really, what is the definition of a CPA? Because we've had this conversation many times.
Oh my gosh.
And what it's like to lead an agency as a woman in a very male-dominated environment. So welcome.
Yes,
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here this morning.
Good. It's interesting because we were talking a little bit before the show. You guys can only imagine. It's March and April. For a CPA firm, it's probably the most exhaustive months of the year, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of work compression. We got a lot to get done, and
Thank you for being here. I know. When Waylon told me that you were going to be here, I'm like, this is our busiest time. Oh my gosh.
So
thank you.
what I did all weekend, I worked.
We can feel your pain for sure. So tell us, maybe we should just start with that, Marie. Tell us a little bit about what is actually the definition of a CPA and what makes it different than just an accountant?
Well, CPAs, we have gone to school, and now to get certified, you get certified through the state by testing and working for a CPA. You have to have a master's in accounting too.
Okay.
And when we pass the test, then we're able to do some things for you that just like a regular accountant can't do. We can represent you in front of the IRS. And we can file your tax returns, and we have to have education every year. So a certified public accountant is, like I said, licensed to do what they need done.
And you probably know more about taxes in general than a general accountant.
Yeah, well, so an accountant, yes, an accountant would be somebody who probably knows accounting, yes. And there are other people, attorneys and enrolled agents who specialize in tax too, but yes.
But I think that because, accountants, if I'm not mistaken, really are much better with kind of keeping your books, right? So I'm assuming that the CPA or you and your agency really, in many cases, work hand in hand with a business entity's accountant, right? So they may actually take care of the books, and then they provide that to you to work through all of the mechanics of their taxes. Is that kind of the way that it works?
Well, yeah, so, we, as a CPA firm, we're external to your internal organization, right? And so what we can do is we really need good numbers. I think we've talked about this before. With good numbers, we can really help you. And so whether, that's one of the focuses of Kelly CPA is to get your numbers good. Teach you how to do it, or if you can't do it, for us to do it for you. And so once we know where you're at, I think we've had this conversation, then we can know where we're going or where we're at.
Go into that, because I've had my company for 15 years, and I have never understood the different categories to do the bookkeeping. I've done everything myself. I don't have a big budget. And I've never really I have CPAs, but they've never told me this is what you need to do. Like, these are the different categories that you really need to line it up for, So I just have been making it up and all that and turn it in an Excel spreadsheet, which they say has been working out fine. But when someone's looking for a CPA, should they be asking that kind of thing? Like, what are the different categories that you need? Or are they, do you understand my question?
I understand your question. So it really comes to the point, like, why am I here and why is there Kelly CPA?
Yeah. Right.
Because I had worked for large firms my whole life, doing like big businesses, doing their financial statements so that you could take your numbers and go to a bank and get a loan or get a bond. And then I retired, and I was helping smaller companies.
Right.
And I found that there's not a CPA who can help with just really the smaller issues.
So true.
So I kind of have some rules. You know, if you're going to be in business, you need to have you need to understand the rules, and you need to have books and records to account for the.
Sure.
And of course, then you need to pay your accountant. That's another
right.
rule.
Right. That's important.
But so we like QuickBooks Online, and I'm not attached, you know, I'm not endorsed by Intuit or anything,
No,
but I think
and
it's
that's a
great.
pretty
And I think
general
that, you know, I'm not sure what your business is, but if you're taking that step and you're incorporating and you're an LLC and you have employees, then Excel's not going to work. You're going to have an accounting package. And we're really lucky. I don't know if we're lucky or not. I feel like sometimes, you know, Intuit's building some monsters thinking that they can do their books themselves with these QuickBooks Online, but they're great. They're great tools, and they're easy to use, and they're collaborative. So, you know, we like it so that we can tell you, like, we can sit on the computer together. You're here and I'm at my office and go like, you know, these are the categories you need. You know, you don't we just got a set of books where they have a category for each vendor. And I'm like, no, that's not what the IRS or anybody wants. They want, you know, anything that's advertising goes in advertising. It shouldn't say Facebook, Google, whatever, it should be in there. We have other tools then to say how much should I spend with Google, how much should I spend with Facebook on advertising. So
you do consulting for that. Just
we do
this
a
is how
lot of
you to
consulting
do.
for that.
Okay.
We do a lot of consulting for that. We haven't done bookkeeping to now, but that's one of the services I think I'm going to start offering because I
It's
can't.
so rudimentary. That's like kind of the start of
It's
it.
just, you know what, I call it keeping the integrity there.
Right.
So if I have integrity in the data, then I can help you all day long.
That's right.
You know. So.
And that's a really good point to bring up, because in full disclosure, Marie is my CPA, and her
Yes.
firm handles all of our stuff. And I have to say, like, and this is kind of like maybe a little bit of an answer to your initial question. And what the reason CPAs are, in my estimation, so important is because I came to Marie in a really difficult situation because a previous accountant had really not done some important mechanisms that they needed to do to keep me kind of where I needed to go. And I have to tell you, the reason that I was so attracted to working with Marie was because she looked me in the eye and she said, "This is a difficult situation. It's going to cost you a lot of money." but she said to me, we're gonna take care of you. And the reason that's so important is because we're publicists, right? We're not accountants, we're not tax folks, right? We do PR very well.
Right.
But I don't do taxes.
No, nobody teaches you how to do that. Like,
And it's so important because with Marie and her team, and she has an incredible team, all women, by the way.
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Right now.
she is a job creator for women outside of all the other standing laurels that she has. But because I can rest assured that I don't need to worry about what's going on with my taxes or franchise or all of the other things that they help me with, that I just worry about doing PR. And I think that it's kind of that lifting of the weight off the shoulders and not being in a situation where you don't know kind of what it is. She's an educator, and
Well,
when you sit with her, she tells you exactly what you need to know and what they're going to handle
And I
for you.
applaud you because there's not, from my understanding and my small research, there's not a lot of CPAs who handle super small businesses and who.
Right. So.
You
Yeah,
know,
so that's
there is a need for it. So I applaud you for going.
Well, that's
into
what I
that
saw.
niche.
You know, I mean, I'm not trying to do this for charity. I need to, you know, figure out how to. It's been kind of a work in progress. But yes, there are the CPAs. There's great CPA firms here in town. I mean, I retired from one, I think, one of the best. But they are really focused on large business to large business, and we want to be focused on the entrepreneur starting out, you know, who's a dreamer, who has a vision, who and we help them get there and stay within the law, keep them out of jail, right, Waylon?
Yes, I always say that. So we were talking about it before the show, and so obviously Melissa Plaskoff is the co-founder of On Air Media, and so we always kind of do this roundup before the show. And so she was talking to Marie, and she said, well, I can't even remember the question. She was something like, you know, what can happen if you don't? And I was like, you can go to prison, right? Like Marie will tell you, pay your taxes, or they're going to come get you, right? I don't know if that's even true, but I always.
But back more to the thing, you know, I felt that also my competition was like one guy sitting in an office. And I like to tell, I don't know if this is good right now, but the only people I've ever known who have died at their desk are CPAs. So,
Oh my
you know, so it's
gosh.
like I didn't want, I always worry when you're being handled by just one person. Not that that one person isn't great at their desk, but what happens, we pick up a lot of people like, my accountant just stopped. So we are a firm. And so at Kelly CPA, you'll have one or two or three people who know your business, understand your business, and also because we're mostly helping small businesses, we can also say like, hey, you know, we have this other PR agency and they did this.
Right.
And so let's think about doing this for you too.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
So I'm, of course, obviously interested in, and I know a little bit of your history, but talk to us a little bit about what it was like kind of taking that leap of faith, being a woman and a very educated woman in tax and CPA work, and starting your own firm and knowing, you know, in a very male-dominated environment. What was that like? Was it a daunting experience?
Well, I mean, I feel like I've fought this my whole career.
No.
I mean, a little bit.
Also
It's very, you know, I tell people, like, I had a very successful career, and it's
Sure.
probably going to come across wrong, but, you know, when I was cute and they could date me, I did well, you know, and when I looked like their sister, they made me partner, and, you know, when I started looking like their wife, then got a little different. No. But I've always been involved at my old firm, I was involved in the Women's Initiative there. It is very hard in public accounting. It's getting easier because there's more transparency, and the big firms have done a great job at trying to create an environment where a woman can succeed, a woman who's a mother who needs transparency in her job, flexibility.
Sure.
So they're kind of leading the way. But I started my firm because, like I said, I felt there was this need.
Okay.
And I know how to be a CPA, an external CPA. I'm not as good like being in your business every day.
Right.
You know, and so I felt like I could just do it, and I felt like I needed to do it right, you know, with a vision and a plan, and then hiring great people. And I have been so lucky to attract people who want to do the same thing.
That's right.
And so
That's great.
I'm really excited.
I have a question. What made you want to become a CPA?
Oh my
Have
God.
you always liked
No,
numbers?
you know, my dad took me down to Texas A&M and said, be an accountant.
Oh, is that how it happened?
Yeah, but you know, I think there's a lot of flexibility in it for women, and I think it's a great career for women. So, you know, I got married really young. I had my first baby at 25, and I was able, I mean, even though we didn't have internet back there, and there are some limitations, it's always been a good career for women, I think.
Oh, good. Are there it's still a male-dominated, and not that many women go into it, it seems.
It's really sad that like over 50% of the people graduating from accounting schools are women, but then if you look at the number of partners in CPA firms, it's really low. I mean, at one point it was like 2 or 3%. I think it's going up every year.
Why
and
do you think that is? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, I think, I don't know, you know, they talk about, okay, well, I'm this is way off subject,
Yeah,
I guess.
no, we love it.
But I went one time, so what's it called, like when they have the kings have their guys that ride on the horses, you know, with the, what's that called?
I can't think of the name of it. I know what you're talking
So,
about. Though,
so the king has his team of people on their horses who go out there and they attack the other person and they
Sure.
kill them, right? And so every week the same guy's out there attacking, you know, and doing really well. Well, a woman every once in a while has to step back and can't be there. She has a baby. She, you know, a lot of times they become caregivers for their parents or whatever it is, and so jousters. And so the jouster who's not there every week seems to not be the king's favorite anymore.
Right.
But you know, now we and oh gosh, this is getting way off topic, but a lot of issues with women getting ahead in, I think, in public accounting is what they call PMS. Pale, male, and stale.
Pale male. And stale.
That's great.
No, but really not being the same. You know, it's been a traditional, you know, men to men, but I think it's all changing. I mean, the great firms, we worked with Deloitte when I was at Weaver, and they helped us with a little bit of advice on what they're doing. Ernst & Young's got great programs. So there is a lot of opportunities for women in public accounting. I think that the major CPA firms in Dallas have a couple of them have women managing partners right now. So.
Right.
But I think a lot of it can be attributed to trailblazers like yourself, who saw an opportunity, like you said, and you moved with, you know, fearlessly in that direction.
You know, as far as working with clients have always enjoyed working with me, whether I'm a man or a woman, because I know what I'm doing. I deliver a product, I'm responsive,
And you have a
on time. Thank you.
Sorry, not all CPAs are as charming as you are. So
Yeah, so, you know, I think that CPAs, you know, need to be, if CPA is not responding to you, that's one of the reasons why we met. You know,
That's
you were
right.
in a situation where your CPA was not responding to you.
For a
It doesn't
long
matter if they're a
time.
man or a woman, they
was
need
a
to
man.
respond to you. so they need to respond to you. They need to understand your business. If they don't know what you are, then they're probably not advising you well. They need to really, and they need to see your books, and they need to, and it can be collaborative. You know, you own your books, I don't own your books, and a spreadsheet, you know, we know how
She's
spreadsheets
like looking at me like, oh, girl.
You know, you might just like make a mistake and you just lost half your deductions,
Yeah.
you know?
That's right.
So.
That's right.
Anyway.
God, we could talk to her all day. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Oh.
However, please take the opportunity to visit kellycpatexas.com.
Do you still have time to take more?
Well, we can
file
definitely.
more?
So one of the things, if you haven't taken care of your taxes, extend. There's big penalties for
right.
not extending. So if you are an S corporation or partnership, it's this March 15th, and then of course the individual is April 15th, and regular corporations. So extend. There's big penalties called failure to file.
Yes,
We know that one.
Yes,
And then
we
go
know
see
those, and they
Cal
are very,
or
very
Marie
expensive.
right away.
Yes, but we can definitely talk to you, and we have room to take on new clients. so
Perfect. And I'll tell you, Marie is actually going to be coming up on several others. We just did the digital entrepreneur,
Yes.
right, at WeWork. We're in the works of doing some additional public speaking opportunities, workshops, really, where you can learn more about her business and what her team does. So stay tuned. We'll post some more on our website about Kelly CPA. And I guess until Monday, enjoy a very safe St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Right? And celebrate happy. Thank you so much, Marie,
Yes,
for
thank
being here.
you.
We
Come and
really
see us
appreciate
at
it.
SusanandWaylon.com.
SusanandWaylon.com.